The Wizard of Oz is a film famously known for its use of color. The film came out in 1939 and is now known as a timeless classic. This film is about a young girl named Dorothy who runs away from her home and finds herself in the land of Oz. In this new land, she meets three friends, the Lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man. From there, they follow the famous Yellow Brick Road on a journey to the Emerald City. One of the most unique scenes of this film takes place after Dorothy's home was swept away by a tornado and touches down in an unfamiliar place. When she opens the door, still in her dull sepia home, she steps out into a world of Technicolor, known as Munchkinland. As Dorothy steps out of her dull Kansas home, she transforms into color as well. Her dress turns from the monotonic sepia tone to a vibrant blue and white, her face beaming with color and wonder. You can even see the rosiness in her cheeks and a gleam of light in her eyes. The expression on her face, especially in color, helps to accentuate the otherworldliness of Oz, and further highlights the importance of the expressive use of colors in this scene. The camera pans out to the right as she steps on the yellow path. There's a pond with clear blue water and green lily pads floating. The camera keeps panning right and gives an amazing close-up of all the pink and yellow flowers. This new land is filled with an abundance of color. There's other colors of reds, greens, yellows, orange, pink, and blues. They all match together and make the land very appealing to the eye. In order to get the colors as vibrant as possible, the lighting needed to be very bright. It has been reported that the set could sometimes reach 100 degrees. The lighting technique used in this scene was called high-key lighting. High-key lighting is marked by high levels of light, low contrast, and few shadows. You can see that this scene is very bright, especially by looking closely at the flowers. They have so much light that they appear to be very shiny. This level of bright lighting creates a sense of happiness for the viewers. If the lighting was any lower, viewers may not have viewed the scene to be as magical as it really is. Low-key lighting is used for many of the scenes involving the Wicked Witch and the Wizard. Low-key lighting is marked by low levels of light, high contrast, and very deep shadows. This type of lighting contributes to the fear the audience experiences when the Wicked Witch is present, for example. The scene where Dorothy and her friends are trying to escape the Wicked Witch's castle has the low light, making it scarier when the Wicked Witch and her monkeys are chasing after them. The use of lighting combined with color makes a huge difference in the movie. If only one technique was used throughout, the same emotions might not have been felt by viewers. For these dark, fearful scenes, it makes the audience able to feel the fear more strongly. The three-point lighting system was the final lighting system used in this film. Three-point lighting uses three primary sources of light to create a three-dimensional appearance with soft shadows and a backlight placed behind the subject and aimed at its back to create a rim of light that separates it from the background. A good example of this is in the scene where Dorothy sings the famous song,
you dare to dream really do come true.
Even though this scene is not in color, you can still see how the lighting plays into how we view the scene. It is able to separate Dorothy from the background and make her the main focus of the scene. Let's get back to talking about how this film was shot with such an abundance of color. Another scene that really showcases this film's talent is when Dorothy and her friends walk through the forest surrounded by red, pink, and purple flowers and come upon Emerald City. It is called Emerald City for a reason. Although not a physical set, Emerald City sparkles with a beautiful green color, giving off the illusion that it is really there. This was able to be done thanks to the process of Technicolor. The Technicolor process included using 3 different colors of film strips. These included one red, a green, and a blue. They are then processed and developed. After, the negatives and prints are processed on a special type of stock to produce the images in a hard gelatin. These were then sent to the theaters. The DF-24 camera was used to record this film, which was a large 6-foot and 106-inch camera. The 3 separate film strips in each color were located in the camera to provide Technicolor. Without this camera, Technicolor would not have been possible. There were only a limited number of these cameras available, so they needed to be rented in order to be used. So if there were none available at the time a company needed to rent one, then they would have to wait for it to be turned in. Because the scenes were able to be shot in color, the writer was able to change Dorothy's slippers from silver, like in the original novel, to red to make them stand out more. Herbert Kalmus was the man who invented Technicolor, and his wife, Natalie Kalmus, also played a very important role to this process. She was in charge of deciding the colors that would be used to make the scene look right. She was so careful and precise when planning out which colors to use that she made up charts and maps. She has a book called Color Consciousness, which talks about the color sense and color harmony. She knew colors would hold the interest of viewers as well as affect their mood, so she was constantly thinking about the emotion each scene needed to give off when choosing the colors. Overall, Natalie made sure none of the colors clashed in the scenes and made sure everything fit together nicely. A socio-political aspect of this film that a lot of people gloss over is the fact that it was released near the end of the Great Depression. The first sequence in Technicolor has the strongest reflection of the Great Depression ideals. Dorothy goes from being in her dull, sepia home in Kansas, filled with dread, to leaving the past behind and stepping into a bright and colorful land. This allows her to smile and be genuinely happy and surprised. It gives viewers an opportunity to use their imagination and become inspired in their own lives. Her escaping her home signifies escaping the hardships of the Depression and allows viewers to escape as well and give them a sense of hope. The hardships people were facing during the Great Depression include poverty, hunger, unemployment, and not as much government aid. It was a depression in terms of finances, but it was also a depression in terms of people's quality of life and happiness. They were losing faith that these issues will get better in the end. The scene itself even foreshadowed the economic revival of the United States in the mid to late 40s at the start of World War II. So Dorothy stepping out of her worn-out Kansas home gave people that spark of faith and encouraged them to keep dreaming and looking for their own new dream and world to escape to. The famous scene at the end of the movie where Dorothy clicks her heels together 3 times, repeating the phrase, "There's no place like home," provides a very important message, which is, in fact, there's no place like home. Although she loved the colorful new land and all of her new friends, she realized that she wanted to be back home, and back home is where she belonged, and she could fix the problems there on her own without the magic of a wizard. Another aspect of this film that's prevalent is gender. Dorothy is a strong female character and the lead. During this time period, women still were not quite seen as powerful or superior to men. So the fact that this film features her as well as several other female characters gives girls hope that they can do whatever they set their mind to. After Dorothy's crazy adventure, she realizes she had what she needed all along. She says, "If I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't go any further than my own backyard." The aesthetics in this movie are outstanding. This film definitely involves cinema of attractions. According to Tom Gunning, this means that it is presenting something unique in order to capture the attention of more viewers. I do not think this was the sole purpose of using color in this film, but it definitely captured many people's attention and had them hooked on the film. What made this movie so unique to the time was the effective use of color with the little technology they had. The grandiose set also plays into the uniqueness of the scene because the directors were able to be aware that it would be shown in color, so they could focus on adding minute details that would help to overwhelm the viewer with its vibrancy with the contrasting colors. They did not overwhelm the viewers in a negative way, just enough to have them appreciate the strong aesthetic work that the scene really has. In the Emerald City barbershop scene, this use of cinema of attractions is shown by the contrast given between the set and the barbers compared to the main characters. The walls, floors, chairs, and barbers are all in a green shade, while Dorothy and her friends really stand out. In my opinion, this is one of the most unique scenes in the film.
The same. All I kept saying to everybody was, "I want to go home." And they sent me home. Doesn't anybody believe me?
Of course we believe you, Dorothy.
Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home. Home. And this is my room. And you're all here. And I'm not going to leave here ever, ever again. because I love you all. And, oh, Annie M., there's no place like home.
I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.